What happens when two of country music's biggest stars walk onto a talk show expecting friendly banter only to find themselves in the middle of television's most uncomfortable confrontation? The Kelly Clarkson Show was supposed to be a routine promotional appearance for Blake, Shelton, and Gwen Stefani. But what unfolded that afternoon left the studio audience stunned, the production team scrambling, and two A-list celebrities escorted from the building. Before we dive into this jaw-dropping story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you think really caused this explosive fallout. Trust me, you're going to want to hear every single word of what went down. The morning began like any other taping day. Crew members moved efficiently. Audience members buzzed with excitement. And Kelly Clarkson prepared for what she believed would be a light, charming segment. But subtle warning signs appeared early. Blake and Gwen arrived separately, an unusual choice for a couple known for presenting a united front. Blake's team requested separate green rooms, while Gwen's publicist insisted on pre-approving every interview. Question, something she had never required before. Kelly was briefed, raised an eyebrow, but brushed it off as typical celebrity logistics. When the cameras rolled and Kelly welcomed them on stage, the energy was electric but strained. The audience cheered loudly as Blake and Gwen walked out together. Yet attentive viewers noticed the distance between them. No hand-holding, no affectionate glance. They sat slightly apart, smiles carefully controlled. Kelly opened with warmth, complimenting them as one of music's most beloved couples. Blake responded with his usual charm, but Gwen's smile felt practiced, almost forced. As the conversation shifted to Blake's new album, his tone unexpectedly changed. He spoke about clarity, about realizing that people you trust can surprise you in painful ways. The words hung heavily in the air. Gwen stiffened. Kelly sensed danger, but gently prompted him to elaborate. Gwen quickly redirected, praising Blake's introspective songwriting. Blake turned toward her, eyes sharp, and repeated her words with thinly veiled sarcasm. The audience felt it. This wasn't playful teasing. This was something raw. Kelly tried steering the conversation back to their relationship, calling it a strong partnership. Blake laughed hollowly and repeated the word partnership as if it carried a bitter taste. Gwen urged. Silence filled the studio. Kelly asked the question everyone was thinking, was everything okay? Gwen assured her it was, blaming stress. Blake shook his head, clearly done pretending. When Kelly gently offered him the chance to speak honestly, he took it. He said the audience deserved the truth. Gwen whispered for him to stop. He refused. Whatever was happening was no longer containable. And the moment Blake inhaled deeply to continue, it became clear this appearance would change everything. Blake's voice steadied, but his hands betrayed him, gripping the chair as he spoke. For 6 months, he said, he had watched someone he loved build an entire career move behind his back. Gwen's face drained of color. She begged him to stop, warning him he was making a mistake. Blake pressed on, accusing her of hiding meetings, disguising late-night calls, and involving people who were supposed to be their friends. Kelly, visibly shaken, asked if he was implying infidelity. Blake laughed bitterly and said that would have been easier. What hurt more, he explained, was professional betrayal. Gwen finally snapped, accusing Blake of trying to destroy everything because his ego couldn't handle her independence. Blake fired back with accusations of his own, revealing that Gwen had sold songs they wrote together, songs born from their private moments, to other artists without telling him. The audience gasped when Blake described hearing one of their most personal songs on the radio, sung by someone else. Gwen stood abruptly, defending herself by saying she had legal rights as a co-writer. Blake acknowledged the legality but questioned the morality, especially when that song ended up with an artist connected to her past. Kelly struggled to process what was unfolding live on her stage. This was no longer celebrity drama. It was an industry scandal. Gwen insisted the music business was just that, business. Blake countered that their relationship had been treated like a product. He accused her of already planning an exit, of framing a solo comeback around breaking free from him. When Kelly asked if that was true, Gwen spoke vaguely about strategic decisions. Blake revealed he had learned the truth through a drunken industry insider who bragged about the marketing plan. Security crept closer. Gwen finally admitted she loved Blake, but loved her career too. She claimed she believed the move would elevate them both. Blake accused her of being willing to turn him into a villain for album sales. Tears streamed down Gwen's face as she pleaded to talk privately. Blake questioned whether she planned to let him learn the truth through headlines after her album dropped. Kelly, realizing the segment had become unsalvageable, called for a commercial break. Backstage, chaos erupted. Makeup artists rushed Gwen. Producers argued in hushed voices. Blake stared blankly at the audience. Kelly tried to mediate, urging professionalism. Blake replied that maybe the audience deserved to see the truth behind the polished images. Gwen shot back, accusing Blake of sabotaging her solo efforts for months. As the countdown to going live again began, Kelly faced a career-defining choice. She chose to continue. The cameras rolled, and the fallout resumed. Returning from the break, Kelly acknowledged the unexpected turn and offered them an out. Blake refused. Gwen agreed to continue, her voice trembling but firm. Kelly asked Gwen to respond to Blake's accusations of interference. Gwen claimed Blake couldn't handle her succeeding without him, that every discussion about her career became about how it affected him. Blake shouted that he cared because he believed they were building something together. Gwen countered with a specific incident, a Nashville meeting about her publishing deal that Blake allegedly crashed, lecturing executives about preserving a shared country image. The audience gasped again. Blake flushed, insisting he was supporting her. Gwen accused him of control, saying he framed it as protection. The argument escalated rapidly, voices overlapping, emotions spilling unchecked. Kelly attempted to summarize, suggesting both felt betrayed. Blake said there was no fixing a relationship where one person saw the other as an asset or obstacle. Gwen stood, declaring there was no future with someone who equated love with sacrificing ambition. Blake stood too, denying he ever asked her to give anything up. Gwen shot back that he never had to ask. He simply made independence impossible. Then came the revelation that froze the room. Gwen accused Blake of calling her label the day before she was set to sign her solo deal. Kelly audibly gasped. Blake looked genuinely stunned, denying it, until Gwen claimed she had phone records. She accused him of trying to sabotage her out of fear. Blake's anger erupted, but his denial faltered under the weight of evidence. The studio felt volatile, almost unsafe. Audience members leaned forward, some covering their mouths. Kelly watched helplessly as a deeply personal war played out on live television. Gwen shouted that Blake tried to kill her deal. Blake argued he was trying to protect her from burnout. Gwen called it manipulation. The trust between them collapsed in real time, every word severing it further. There was no performance, no reconciliation, only two people unraveling the story they had sold the world. Kelly tried once more to bring calm, but it was clear the damage was irreversible. What began as a talk show appearance had turned into a public reckoning neither could take back. The argument reached a breaking point. Voices echoed through the studio as security moved closer, prepared to intervene. Blake, now hoarse, insisted he never intended to sabotage Gwen, only to slow what he believed was a reckless pace. Gwen accused him of disguising control as concern. Each accusation landed harder than the last, stripping away years of curated public affection. Kelly finally stepped between them verbally, calling for the segment to end. Producers signaled frantically. The audience remained silent, stunned into stillness. Gwen turned away, wiping tears. Blake stared straight ahead, jaw clenched, as if realizing the permanence of what had just happened. The cameras cut. Security escorted both artists off the set separately. No words exchanged. No final glance. Kelly remained on stage, visibly shaken, later apologizing to the audience for what they had witnessed. Within minutes, clips began spreading online. Headlines formed in real time. Social media exploded with speculation, support, and backlash on both sides. By evening, entertainment outlets called it one of the most explosive moments in daytime television history. Fans were divided, some siding with Blake's sense of betrayal, others defending Gwen's right to her career. Industry insiders whispered about lawsuits, unreleased contracts, and albums quietly shelved. What was once a love story became a cautionary tale about fame, ambition, and trust. Neither Blake nor Gwen released an immediate statement. Their silence spoke louder than words. What happened on that stage couldn't be spun or edited away. It was raw, unfiltered, and permanent. A relationship built in the spotlight had collapsed under it. live, and undeniable. And for everyone watching, one thing became clear. Sometimes the truth doesn't come out in interviews, statements, or press releases. Sometimes it erupts, unexpected, irreversible, and witnessed by millions.